Good morning. In this video, we will analyze a topic discussed in the column Kerala economy. The column Kerala economy and the videos giving a brief introduction to the contents in the column in both English and Malayalam is also attached in this video, along with this video. So let's just get straight into the topic. As we always used to repeat, economics is all about possibilities. We here analyze some possibilities. Possibilities that are beyond our domain. Maybe you can't call it domain, beyond, because the technology is that much improved that there is hardly anything that is beyond reach. So, when you talk about possibilities, there is possibilities everywhere. Because when you talk about limits, we talk about sky. When you talk about being traditional, being grounded, being rooted, being green, being genuine, we talk about the tribal things, the primitive things, which is not very primitive when we talk about being soulful, being green. And when we talk about diversity, when we talk about mystery, even the poets, they talk about sea. And when we talk about something beyond imagination, we talk about space, we talk about the celestial things. And in all these four fields, there is now economics, there is now fight for domination. Now there is climate change, there is lifestyle induced by climate change, there is density of population, the wants, needs, the mismatch, a global power scenario where resources and power is concentrated in the hands of very few. We see famine, we see extravaganza. So there is mismatch, and this mismatch leads us to a fight in the space, in the celestial domains. You can call it the celestial domain. There is space war. This war is not just for domination, to show that we are the most equipped, we are the most advanced, but it's also for minerals, resources that we need in the future when we are awaiting a battle, where we are awaiting a war, which we should battle it out for a drop of water, a mere drop of water. So there is resource crunch, and this resource crunch brings us possibilities. First, you can call it the sea economics. The recent Vizhinjam terminal, it brings us possibilities. Politics apart, there is environmental issues, there is ecological issues, you can call it. I don't think it has been systematically addressed. The Adani port, they are always not included in the right brackets, or not considered the most genuine partners. There is issues. There is issue regarding rehabilitation of the people living there. There is about there is about the compensation amount. There is about an alternate lifestyle that they have to opt. The environmental issues not necessarily addressed in the proper way. And with the intentions of the Adani group remaining always under the question mark, you have to think deep into it. But apart, it's about the possibilities. How ports, how sea routes defined the social life of man. How the power is shifted from the men who tamed the seas in the 15th and 16th century to now, the space war. So there is a power shift, and it's the sea routes, it's the sea that defined everything. No longer the sole trade route, but still, a cargo, what can you say, an option, a cargo option, even now, despite the air routes, despite the development in the, what you can say, despite an air traffic opened in the last century, sea routes still remain the most vibrant cargo route, the cargo option. I think you are clear about it. But so we have to accept that harbors, sea routes, seaports, they define development of a city. It can be Dubai, it can be New York, it can be the Muziris in the past in Kerala. These ports indicate a sign. It's a status. It's not just a status of development. It's a possibility of development, because life sprouts there. Life changes. It's not just Trivandrum that will change. You can see the technical, political issues related to Colombo port. You can see how China is trying to be the biggest player there. There are political issues. There is terrorism. There is drugs. There is power issues. There is a Cold War between China and America. And it's a very strategic route to the Indian Ocean. And there is this Arabian Sea. So it's a very strategic location, and we have to address and we have to realize that it brings us possibilities. If we truly analyze the possibilities without sacrificing the rights of nature. Because if we sacrifice the rights of nature, we are going to perish. Because there needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance on how we can utilize the resources in sea or the sea routes to decongest our traffic, to decongest our labor, to decongest our toll on, to decongest the financial burden that we have to take in the aerial and roadways. But along with that, we have to analyze the possibilities, or we have to analyze in the economic social term the mismatch that would occur when we sacrifice the interest of nature. How far it is conducive, that has to be understood. That has to be discussed. There is a restriction on deep sea mining. There is a treaty to protect the international sea waters, which is not owned by any particular country. That treaty, I don't remember actually the treaty. Yes, biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. Then that treaty is all about protecting the sea resources, protecting the sea, protecting the oceans, protecting the water, because the biodiversity inside, or the biodiversity that the ocean possesses, is beyond imagination. It is for generations to come. When you try to find the economic, when you try to be economic, when you try to invest your future in ocean without considering the loss of nature inside the deep blue ocean, the deep blue waters, you have to pay the fine. It's the generations that has to pay the fine. Already the climate change, it has the effects, it has spillover effects stretching up to centuries. when this resources in the inside, when the balance inside the ocean is rattled, it is going to take centuries to it's actually not possible to bring back that equilibrium. You have to suffer, and you will suffer. But when we consider that on one side, take up the other side. Just look at the other side. When you talk about green economics, when you talk about smartphones, when you talk about energy that consumes less space, less money, less natural resources, we need resources like nickel, which is inside, which is hidden inside this deep ocean zones. But to extract that, we have to incur a cost that inflicts heavy pain on sea and on nature and on the entire ecological balance. So that is where this balance has to come in. Our search for green energy, our search for sustainable, reusable energy, we need to search, we need to go inside the oceans, we need to go inside the waters. But that search, will that destabilize the balance of water, destabilize the balance of ocean? That is something that we have to analyze. It's a very delicate balance. Only the experts can bring about, or only the expert can, only they could balance it. That is the same thing with this marine. It's about development. It's about all-round development. But will that suit nature? Will that provide a relief to the ones who will be and who has to be displaced for this development? That is where we have to balance. That is the same thing with the airlines industry. The last 2 decades, we have seen private airlines coming up. The financial scenario changed, the lifestyle changed, the income levels have risen, more connectivity, and it has become from a luxury. The airlines has become the cheapest and rather most economic mode of transport. But post-COVID, we have seen collapse of airline industries, job losses, and while it is still on recovery path, we see there is this mismatch between the supply of professionals in the airline industry, from pilots, from courses related to airline industry, technical courses and other courses. We see there is a mismatch. And how can we supply that? Can Kerala supply that? Will that bring up a new educational, economic, social system in Kerala? That's something that we have to analyze. Can we make trained pilots? Can we bring up courses and colleges and universities suiting the demands? Can we be the job providers? That is something we have to understand. There are Air Force pilots retired. How can we use them? There are billionaires in Kerala. Can we seek their help to start new universities or colleges teaching courses? Can we start institutes, colleges training pilots? All these has to be analyzed by experts, but there is possibilities. And the third thing is tribal economies. There is possibilities, as we discussed in some other topics. The fame that Kerala, the health sector has, and how it got multiplied post-COVID. It also brings up challenges. It also brings up possibilities. Rather than patriotism, rather than sentimentalism, we have to think how we can bring all the streams of medicine together. How can we renovate? How can we innovate? How can we take the traditional health sector, how can you make it a mainstream health sector with prestige and possibilities? That has to be analyzed. The tribal areas in Kerala, the Attappallis, Wayanads, they are resources. There is natural resources, traditional medicinal plants, and there are traditional. You can't call them doctors, but they could be untrained, amateur, untrained, not trained doctors who have knowledge of nature, who could, who possess everything that is beyond imagination of, beyond scientific explorations. How can we find them? How can we trace them? How can we utilize them without harming the nature, without harming the tradition, and without harming their lifestyle, and also innovating the entire life in those tribal areas, and making these tribal resources and the practitioners of tribal medicine champions of Kerala's health success. That is something we have to analyze. So water, air and forest, all these three brings us possibilities. But these possibilities has to be analyzed, giving due respect to nature, retain the essence of nature. There is no space for compromise. You cannot compromise on the health of nature, because when you, it's the generations that will bear the brunt. So it's about possibilities, and for that possibilities, sky is a limit. It is a limit set by nature, a limit, a barrier that we are not supposed to break. Thank you.